Hey guys, if you love QF's content on our free Sundays and Thursday sessions, then please visit our Patreon page in the description and sub to the Black Kluge tier or higher for full access to not only our bonus weekly Tuesday night shows and the alternate Sunday shows you've been missing, but also to the exclusive episodes not available to the lower tiers. It's roughly the price of one coffee a month, and nobody at Starbucks will make you laugh like we do for that kind of scratch. In addition, when you sub to the Black Kluge tier, you'll get 2 weeks advance access to each Thursday session on Patreon before it makes it to YouTube.
Robin, Ronnie, and Chris DeStefano. Been practicing that name all night. DeStefano.
DeStefano.
Chris DeStefano.
DeStefano.
DeStefano, motherfucker.
I told you to put that accent on the staff.
Oh.
DeStefano.
Chris is, this is what happened. How do I not know? Chris DeStefano. DeStefano. So you, Ronnie, and Chris DeStefano are going to have to figure out what this guy's thinking. Fuck. Let me say it a couple.
DeStefano.
Chris DeStefano, you and Ronnie are going to have to figure it out. And here we go again. Chris DeStefano.
No, DeStefano.
Chris, your last name drives me fucking nuts. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you. It's nice to meet everyone.
Now it's DeStefano. Okay, right?
Oh,
That's
nice,
it?
Robin. DeStefano.
DeStefano. Yes, Robin nailed it. Yes.
Okay.
DeStefano.
DeStefano.
Yep.
Why is that so hard for me? I'm like an idiot. Hey, I got to take a quick break. Tomorrow, Robin, Ronnie, and comedian Chris DeStefano. I fucking fumble that name every time. Chris DeStefano.
Why doesn't he change his name?
Oh, fuck. Those ethnic names, best to change them for show business. Chris DeStefano. They'll be playing My Freaky Fetish in honor of Cocktober. Wait till you hear.
I'm trying to decide whether I want to win this contest or should I don't want to know maybe I don't want to know what this freaky fetish is.
Fetish? It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, not fun. It's fucking intense, but. Am I not saying Chris's name right? DeStefano. DeStefano. These guys give me phonetics.
Welcome, ladies and gents, to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm your host, Fillmore, a.k.a. Jim Fix. With me for second part of the as yet untitled Fred versus Allison / Kamala Harris mini clips. Two-parter is Wayne. How are you today, sir?
Good, thanks. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you back, as always. And this one, it's always and I wouldn't say problematic, but it's always interesting to see who's really interested in the older stuff, because there's some people that just have zero desire because they weren't around for it or they didn't start listening until the arty years.
Yes. See, I'd want to hear the old stuff that I missed and see, when things were semi-funny back then. Well, actually, this was pretty funny when it did air. It's just cringeworthy now, though.
Oh, yeah, very much so. And the other thing is I find this particular one more interesting because you never, after a certain point, you stopped hearing from Alison Norris.
Oh, yeah, she fell off the face of the earth. And the last I heard was the thing with when she was doing the thrift store. I think that's the last thing I heard about her.
But did she call in for that? Or, I mean, like,
no.
there was that there was that thing we covered, the 3-part of the better half, which is, all the spouses or girlfriends / boyfriends of the show coming in, and that was the last I think we heard from Allison, and she didn't come off well there either.
Right. There was. I just vaguely remember something about her having that store and somebody going to it or bringing things to it or something like that. And I think that was the last mention of her at all.
Yeah. And the auspices with which she came onto the show as a dial-a-date, to me, that was always one of the most dubious things. That was the most suspect things on the planet. And then when you see this, I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe they lasted.
Well, it's the same as like the JD thing, how she latched onto him, and it just seems like it's a reoccurring event on here with the women of the Stern Show.
Yeah, totally.
You like that, dog? You like that?
What animal are you, dog?
I'm a tiger.
You're a tiger?
I'm going to be a tiger.
No, you're a tiger. No, I'm a little coyote.
Good. Do the scene for me. Why won't you do it?
Why should I do the scene for you right now?
Innocent
and there's nothing to it.
Because this will be on E-television. Tons of directors will see it. Tons of producers will see it. Oh,
and you know what, Howard?
But you know what? You know deep down inside, it won't get you any work.
But you know what?
It'll get him work, not you.
If this was a speaking part, she'd do it in a minute.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Do you really think there's tons of producers and directors watching the Stern Show on E?
Yeah, or looking for the next big thing.
Yeah, they're going to find somebody on the Howard Stern Show. It's going to be the next Audrey Hepburn's going to be rolling in through the Stern Show.
Well, the other thing is, it is true that Broadway used to be Broadway, for the theater used to be a breeding ground for really the next big talents and stuff like that. But, musicals and this kind of shit, no one's going to care about this. The other thing is, they're not expecting to find acting talent on the Howard Stern Show. I mean, it's the bottom of the barrel. They know that. This
is like the dinner theater kind of thing too. It's not even off. It's not even off Broadway. It's Broadway adjacent down by the docks or something.
Yeah. Have you ever heard Artie talk about, his early days of stand-up? He's got some fucking amazing stories of doing improv, and he was doing improv before, I don't know, he was doing the MC before, he was doing stand-up for an improv group as an opening up for them. And some guy was drunk in the audience and said, show us some improv. And he goes, well, I'm a comic. The improv thing's coming after. He said, well, I paid to see some improv, so do some improv. He goes, and Artie goes, well, what do you want to see? He goes, okay, well, you're a plumber. All right, I'm a plumber. He goes, you're a gay plumber. So Artie goes, why don't you come up and blow me? So the guy came up on stage and acted like he was blowing him. And then the comedy troupe, the improv group, found out about it, and they fired him. They paid him for the rest of the thing, but they wouldn't let Artie do stand up anymore.
I never heard that one.
Oh, it's great.
Wow.
It's great because they're all just talking about, Shuley, unfortunately, is in there talking about his experiences, but those are the ones where, when he gets into trouble, you kind of wish somebody had beaten the shit out of him and he'd never do stand up again.
I'm surprised at least the guy was a good sport for shooting off his mouth, and he went up and made good on his threat.
Yeah, to help out with the improv.
Yeah. You think that would have shut him down?
Yeah.
But you won't do the scene. You're embarrassed by the scene.
What you're doing.
Let me see you two do the scene. Patrick's willing to do it.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, Howard, no.
No, he's only saying that because you object.
Do it. He's an actor. He's a professional actor. You put this guy in a garbage pail to do professional
acting.
acting.
He'll come over and kiss me.
He's looking for a break.
It's a process, Howard.
A process, my ass. You never had to do a scene? You ever see Star Search? In 2 seconds, they get up and do a scene.
Yeah.
Star Search?
Yeah. Oh, you're putting down Star Search? Oh, that's right. You're a professional actress. I forgot. Let me see you go on Star Search.
At least they might win.
Do you remember a show in the old days? It was called Dawn Adams Screen Test.
No, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. Not even a clip.
I don't even know if it's out there anywhere, but it was they take scenes from old movies, and then the people had to reenact those scenes.
Oh wow!
And yeah, it was pretty good. It was a good premise, and it didn't last that long. But I know me and my father used to always watch it, And he knew all these old movies, and it was my first exposure to a lot of these old movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew Don Adams from Get Smart because I was a huge Get Smart fan.
What year would that have come out? Do you remember?
Wow, like 75, 76.
Okay, so it was, they're just trying something out and see if it'll stick. I don't remember it, but then if it wasn't popular, it wouldn't have gone in syndication. It wouldn't have lasted. You wouldn't have seen it even as a fill-in show later on.
But sometimes there's like two things I always look for. I haven't looked for that on YouTube, but the other one was the show called Bonkers with the Hudson brothers.
Yeah.
And I used to love that. I have them recorded on cassette. Yeah. And it was like vaudeville kind of thing.
Cool.
Hear his wife? Fred, did you hear your wife? Star Search.
What are you throwing papers at me for,
Sorry, Jack. We don't believe
Howard,
Star
why are you
Search.
so mean to me?
Let me see you kiss.
Why are you being
Because
so mean
Fred's
to
my
me?
friend. This guy's been with me since Hartford.
We love Fred, believe it or not.
And I know Fred's personality.
I
I know
love
Fred can't
Fred.
communicate with people and tell them how he feels.
I'm his wife. He communicates with me.
Let me tell you something. He communicates with Mars.
Did he tell you how much this hurts?
Now, why are you putting me down?
Yeah. Sorry, pal.
Why not?
All right.
Know who she kind of reminds me of? She looks like Pauly Shore. No, seriously.
Like Pauly Shore?
Yeah, just watch her mannerisms, the way she's tilting her head, and she's kind of like, hey, you know.
That's a bad comparison. Like that's
the visuals.
Let me just go right back. We're at 556. Okay, hold on. Let's put it right here.
Let's just watch her. See it?
I suppose, yeah. I suppose. But my God, imagine a woman, you go up to her and you say you want to impress her, you say, you look like Pauly Shore. Instant hate splattered. And incidentally, I mean, I don't know. It got made, but I don't think it got. If it got released, do you remember you heard about the Pauly Shore doing this Richard Simmons biopic?
Yeah. Yep.
I would never watch it in a million years, based on what I know of Pauly, and I just can't stand his fucking ass. And he was on Joe Rogan a while back, last year, a few years ago. He was on Joe Rogan complaining about how he got blackballed from the business.
Yeah, well, he did it didn't they hang him off the back of the Hollywood sign or something?
I love that story. Whether that's true or
Yeah.
not, it's a great story. And I believe it, actually, because he was obnoxious. He got his film deals. And even if it didn't happen, it was just a matter of your films don't make money anymore, dude. So you're not going to get, the studios aren't going to waste money. You're not a direct-to-video star.
There was a song by a group called Dirty Sanchez. I don't know if you ever heard of it. And
I've heard of Dirty Sanchez, but...
Yeah, it's like they're like a electro kind of dance thing with a guy in drag, and I don't know, but there's like a line in the song that says they found you hanging on the Hollywood sign or something like that, and I never put the two of those together until I heard the Pauly Shore story. Yeah.
Well, I know the story about Denise Richards being a high-priced call girl. I'd heard from long before I heard the Pauly Shore story. And then that Heather Locklear was down with like threesomes and stuff. That I heard too. I heard she was a party girl.
Yeah, I had heard that stuff too.
Yeah, with Charlie Sheen and Heidi Fleiss, the connection there, that's totally true.
The Pauly Shore stuff, because of his mother and all that, it always just rang wrong. Like, I know there's people that liked him and stuff like that, but he just seemed like a leech. And just when he was on MTV, I didn't find it funny at all.
No, God, no. It was just obnoxious. I mean, he made some money.
One of the movies I watched, the Jury Duty one, I said, that's an okay movie.
I think the only one I had time for was Son-in-Law.
Yeah, the only one I sat through the whole thing was Jury Duty. I think it was Tia Carrera in that or something, and
I think so.
Wayne's World. Yeah,
I did see that, but I don't remember it very well. And then the one Biodome looked like it would have been funny to get drunk watching, but it was one of the worst films ever made, apparently.
I think like Kylie Minogue's in that, and I didn't even watch it. And I'm like a huge Kylie fan.
You're a huge Kylie fan, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're putting me
I just know how you are.
No, you don't. You really don't know.
I had you over my house. You couldn't even tell me you don't like hot dogs. I had to get it out of them.
That's 9 years.
You didn't like fish.
That's 9 years ago.
It's 100 years ago.
But this is my wife, and I should be able to tell her what I feel.
I know.
Do you tell her what you feel?
No, not really.
Oh,
I bet you haven't said to her, please quit the show.
I wouldn't say that to her.
What did you say to her?
I wouldn't say that.
So what are you going to say to her?
I have said to her, I'm not happy that you're kissing this guy.
Are you contemplating leaving her?
It is.
Are you contemplating leaving her?
No, I'm not.
You're not.
No, I'm not. There's nothing.
Do you feel
And
that
it has not changed your feelings at all?
Do you think that she's a liar?
Do I think she's a liar? No.
Do you believe her when she says she doesn't get excited kissing this guy?
If I thought she was a liar, if I thought she was really getting off on this guy, there would be
then you know what, pal? You're hallucinating.
Okay. Then I'm hallucinating.
Listen, Junior, I'm going to tell you something.
And rightly
Because
so.
you want to know something?
That
Honestly,
he's the only one
I'm
who
not
can turn
threatened by
her
this
on.
guy, no matter how much you guys want to build him up to being good looking.
He's a really
whatever.
good-looking guy.
No, but you see that
Howard's just an evil son
Howard
of a
knows.
bitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he loves him. He's exactly his type, like a John Stamos type twink. But this is, unfortunately, it is what Howard used to do very, very well. You know, tweak people, get them on the and Fred was so easy to push. His buttons were so massive.
Oh, I mean, the other episode that was good was there was some kind of an incident at Costco or BJ's or something like that he really got wound up, and a caller called in and really got him going. He goes from like 0 to 60 and just afterburners. Crazy.
Yeah, it's brutal. But again, they're all thin-skinned pussies. One of my favorites was Robin talking. It's probably early 2000 or mid 2000. I can't remember. But Robin talks about doing her news on the beach, like doing her preparing for her work on copy on the beach, and Jackie laughing about it, like making a mockery of it. Not laughing, but he made a little aside, and she was silent the rest of the show. And they're they're trying to get her to do the news, and I'm thinking, you fucking unprofessional little twat. Like, honestly, they were just making fun of the fact that you made it sound so regal, like, oh, I was doing my work while on the French Riviera, kind of shit. Yeah.
that's the whole thing. It's
That guy's a really handsome guy.
So what if he's
and she's getting aroused kissing him?
All right, wait a minute.
She's not getting aroused.
You're Fred.
Is Billy Baldwin a good-looking guy?
Yeah, but you want to know something? He is so flat. Same thing with this guy.
If I told you today,
There's no passion in this man. There's no passion in Billy Baldwin. They are walls.
Fred, can I tell you something?
Come on.
I don't care about passion. If I told you today.
Your wife loves you because you're good looking or because you have a good heart and because you have a good
My wife loves me because I have a good personality.
Right.
Excuse me, what are we talking? We're not talking about
Yeah, you know what? No.
Yeah, go ahead.
The only reason I think Allison kind of took pity on him, being because she's a kind person, social worker type, and I think that just in her to kind of feel bad for him, and at that point, I'm sure she was the boss big time.
I think Allison had just as much pressure to get married when they did as he did.
I don't know.
And then no, because like Jewish parents kind of going, oh, you got to get married.
Yeah.
This guy looks like he's be all right, whatever. I can't imagine any parents looking at him going, he'll make it.
See, my ex-wife was a nanny for people, these people, and she went to camp with Allison. She knew Allison, I think she even went to school with her and stuff. And
oh, really?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So. But I had never heard that, and it sounded like the Burns family was really just a normal family.
Well, apparently they were well off.
Yeah, they I think they owned the furniture. Was it furniture or something? I can't remember.
I'm not sure, but they were. She wasn't hurt. That's for sure. She wasn't marrying into money kind of thing. Like Ben was doing fine, and Allison's parents were doing fine.
Well, the Burns, they like Allison Burns. She was from Newton, Mass, and Newton, Mass isn't it's not a slum town by any means. It's a very upscale town.
Yeah,
like right outside of Boston.
No, I think it was just one of those things where you were expected to get married at a certain age, and then you're expected to have kids and all that stuff, and she just figured, well, he's a nice guy, as opposed to, wow, he really turns me on.
I just think that that he was I don't know, maybe she liked him on some kind of goofy level that she felt that not threatened by him or and like that and just felt that he, I don't know, just that he wasn't going to be the wild man he turned into,
Sure. Yeah.
Well, which wasn't even real. It was all an act.
Yeah, totally.
We're talking about her getting sexually turned on.
Fred, when you go to, if I told you for the next, if I told you for the next year, I need you every day to come in here.
Right.
and make out with Amy Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I could do it.
No, you could do it.
I could do it.
You don't think you'd have sexual thoughts?
No.
Do you think you'd get aroused?
Probably not.
Oh.
Do you get aroused at scores?
Probably not.
Do you get aroused at scores?
No comment.
All right.
You picked the wrong example with it.
Come on.
Patrick was laughing at that.
Don't try to pass this off as work. Come on, he knows.
Yeah,
he
what
knows
about
the
all
truth.
that scores, all those lap dances?
Yeah, we get aroused. We get absolutely aroused.
So,
we
then what-
admit it.
At least it's
incredibly aroused.
So what about you? Do you get aroused?
I really don't, but what's the
Oh,
big
you don't
deal?
at all. You don't have any feeling in between your legs when you're kissing
No,
them. No,
I
nothing.
don't.
Excuse me,
I
I
really
don't.
I'm in a nun outfit. It's a little difficult. You know?
Your panties aren't ruined every night kissing
Yeah,
this
they're
guy.
ruined. They're
His tongue.
dripping.
All right,
I
take it easy.
haven't been to scores,
Yeah.
Howard, but I don't think that Fred is kissing these women.
No.
And I'll be honest, I think in actual fact, a lot of actors and actresses, they really, especially if they don't like the other person they're working with, they will just go through with it and, you know, and not really be excited at all. It's just a matter of, okay, let's get it over. This guy's breath stinks, that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of that goes on.
Yep.
It's certainly not as glamorous as some of them would have you believe.
The one I heard with the bad breath was Christopher Walken.
Oh, really?
I'd heard that, and somebody had said that. Like somebody would have a woman that had to do a scene with them, and he was the one that they brought up. She didn't name names, but you could tell that's who she was talking about. So,
did you ever hear Betty Davis's story about the testing girls?
No. What's that?
Give me one sec. Let me find it. Okay, guys, we're going to play a little of this. I don't know how much of this is going to make it through, but it's actually an amazing story.
And all of that stuff. Let's do a variation of that. Did you ever kiss anyone on the screen who was so repulsive that you just couldn't stand to? Did you?
I wish I could use the name.
If so, what was his name was going to be the second part of this.
I absolutely can't till he dies.
Maybe if you do,
But
you
I
will.
want to tell you, it was really something.
I never expected you to answer this.
Yeah, it was really something.
How would you describe it if you had to, what are some adjectives?
It's just something you didn't want to do.
Mm-hmm. Did you know?
It's just a very ugly kind of mouth. Now, interestingly enough, kissing on the screen, I don't want to ruin anybody's illusions. It's probably the most awkward, difficult thing in the world. Number one, the man's apt to get all covered in gook.
Yeah.
The angle of the head's important. It can be very unattractive kissing on the screen, unless the man really has to run it. Like in life, he really should run it. I think nowadays the women are running the kissing more, but I don't know really. I think they are. But well, there are more and more bachelors in the world today. After 30, nobody wants to marry. You know, it's terrible. But anyway, it is not an easy thing to have charm. A love scene is a very difficult thing on the screen.
How did you make yourself go through with this
Well, I
odious
was
kiss?
just getting my salary every week, and there I was. And that was in the script, and I just had to.
You'd kiss him for money.
Yeah, I kissed him.
The whole interview, by the way, in case you haven't seen it like before, is it's one of my favorite interviews to go back to because she pulls so much back from the behind the scenes and talks about other people in the business and what it was like for her, and that it's fascinating. And you keep in mind, I think she won 3 Academy Awards.
Well, he makes people comfortable.
Yeah,
he's probably my favorite interviewer of all.
He's definitely one of mine. I loved what's his name? Pierre Burton as well did a really great job. And then even Mike Douglas wasn't too bad, even though it was a different style of the shorter format when you per guest, but it was still kind of fun. But either way, she talks about it. Basically, she had to be forced to screen test a bunch of guys to see what their chemistry would be like. So kiss like 15 guys at a time.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the only time that was true, but the other kissing experience, I arrived at Universal on 3 months options, some from the theater, and they didn't know what on earth to do with something that looked like me. God, just didn't know. So they asked me if I'd help test some men for a part.
Sounds sinister, doesn't it?
They lay me. Now, at that age, and I want to tell you, in 1930, I was the Yankeeest. modest virgin that ever walked the earth. Let me put it that way. So they laid me on the couch, and I tested 15 men.
You want to reword those
I'm not kidding you. And they all had to lie on top of me and give me a passionate kiss. Oh! I thought I'd die. I just thought I'd die.
That wasn't what you expected it would be in Hollywood. I mean, at least not...
No, well, I didn't really know about being a test girl, no. I didn't do it again.
Were they doing that just to see...
No, they have to have a, if they're testing for men, for a part, they use some girl, any girl they have, and I was under contract, any girl they have, to just help out with the test. And they obviously had to have a woman there for the man to kiss to see if he could do it right. 15 of them.
Are you sure there was film in the camera? Or?
Yes, oh yes, there was film in the camera. There certainly was.
Yeah. So, do you ever see any of those men? Have you ever remember it?
Interestingly enough, one of them was Gilbert Rowland.
Oh.
And I must say, after he kissed me, I thought, this is not so bad. And years later, got to know him very well, worked with him several times, and he's a smashing, perfectly marvelous guy anyway. But he got the part. So I was right in my opinion as well as the camera. That was horrible. You'd be surprised how often that happened in the old days with contract people.
And worse, I expect.
Well, that happened privately, I imagine. Is that what you meant?
Exactly.
Yes.
And she says, now at my age, I would be more than happy to do that again.
I can just picture like a line of like 15 guys, and like you see a guy with like one of those orange roadwork vests, and a guy with a mop and bucket, and like near the end they're getting down the bottom of the bucket.
Yeah, well, anyway, it says that so the idea like there's this magic that goes on. Like, I mean, there's famous stories in the business of when Angelina Jolie did that film with Brad Pitt, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and they hooked up during the filming, and he was with Jennifer Aniston. Well, like at that point, she was probably one of the sexiest people in the business, infamously like nutty and stuff, Angelina Jolie. But even though she's not everybody's cup of tea, but she was notorious for fucking people she was working with.
So, last night I was watching the Hunger, the David Bowie movie. And so I was watching it, the woman vampire, whatever, that is his wife. She's pretty hot. But then, like, Susan Sarandon's in it. And I was, like, thinking of that. I was like, if I had to do this movie, I'm not attracted to her at all. She has a good body, but you'd have to put, like, a Barbie mask on her or something. Because there's just something about her. And she only got worse as she got older.
Generally, except when she was younger, she was quite tasty. But like there was always certain. But if it's not your type, it's not your type. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, but so I was thinking about that when I was watching him. Like I said, this is a movie I'd have no chemistry with this person. Where if there's others that I see of like, oh man, I'd be right into that.
Yeah.
When he gets sexually aroused.
No, they're just humping him while he sits there.
No, that's not true.
That's not true.
And whatever else goes on in scores, too.
Yeah. All right, so why don't you leave him?
Those dark rooms.
At least he goes there and he's honest about it. Do the scene for me, actress. Do the scene if you're such an actress. Come on, everyone's watching.
We'll give you lighting and
I got cameras, I got everything. I got a bigger audience, I got millions of people.
We need some ziti. Patrick, you do this?
She's okay looking, but her voice kind of kills it for me. She sounds like Harley Quinn. I don't know, like that kind of old time New York kind of accent.
Oh, it's unbearable. I think she's from Long Island too. I have no idea, but that voice is complete turn off. So, but yeah, I'd have to have a lot of beer goggles to go with this one.
Yeah, we got to eat ziti. What was that, John?
That's what we missed.
John, Patrick would do it. He's an actor. He's a professional actor. Allison's not a professional actress, so she doesn't want to do the scene.
I'm not. You're right. I'm a total amateur.
Yeah, because you're totally embarrassed by it, because you know what you're feeling.
You know that it's wrong for you to be kissing a
Let me see it. Let me see it.
Totally in love.
Hey, let me see the scene then. You're an actress. Let me see you act. Do a scene. With the character Dominic, played by Patrick Buckley.
You feel nothing.
Yeah. What is the big deal? Do the scene, and then I'll know you're for real.
Because you know why?
Fraud.
Even if I do the scene, you'll still put it down.
No, I won't.
I'm not going to subject
I promise you I will be objective.
Now, the thing is, I don't know why she isn't just telling him, honestly, fuck off and walk out. What does she think? Fred's going to lose his job?
No, I think it's more like she wants the airtime. I think that trumps like, her putting up with this stuff or whatever, just so she can get airtime.
So do you think the real stumbling block here is that Fred's there and she knows she's going to get pissed off?
Right. Yeah, that's the only reason that she's not doing this. If Fred, I don't remember what it ends up happening, but actually I do remember. But if Fred left the room, I think she'd do the scene.
You think so?
Oh yeah, I think she would. I mean, she did it with him sitting there watching.
Yes, she did, and that was about as uncomfortable as I've ever been watching one of these things with someone else.
But see, I think that she knows if she does the scene, then Howard's going to be like, Fred, look at this, Fred.
Yes, and they forget forever, and they forever got it on like Howard TV and stuff like that. It's just unbelievable. Yeah.
Hey, Mom. I'm going to ask you one last time. Will you do the scene for me?
If there's nothing to be ashamed of.
Would it be better if I left the room?
No.
Leave the room,
it doesn't
Fred.
really matter.
Fred, please leave the room.
I mean, if it
Okay, here we go.
Leave the room. She's uptight doing it in front of you.
The scene.
Why? Because you're an actor?
How does Patrick feel?
Patrick would do it. He's an actor.
Let him answer.
Oh, excuse me, Patrick. We have an audience of millions of people who want to see you act. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, I'd do it.
Of course. Wait, it's a no-brainer. The guy's an actor. You're not an actress. An actress goes, oh, my God, I got a chance to act in front of millions of people. I'll do it. You're embarrassed.
But I think doing that scene it would be out of context.
Let me tell you something. You ever been on The Tonight Show and seen a clip of a movie or a clip of a play?
Yeah.
Out of context, schmontext. You go on, you go do a scene. It's a scene.
Well, give him 5 minutes, do a commercial to just get into the character.
Is that right?
Stuttering John wanting to fuck around so much. Now, this is where the height of disrespect for me, and that's why I think Allison's a putana. And I think Fred's a desperate piece of shit, and it really I don't blame him for getting upset about that, because I would be upset too personally. I just couldn't deal with it, and but at the same time I wouldn't let it happen. It'd be one of those things where it's a deal breaker. Like, if this is what you got to do on a regular basis, then no, we can't be together. That's it. And all of a sudden, at least you stuck to your guns. Right here, he's sort of seething and going like, oh, I don't like this, but I'll just be a beta bitch and take it.
See, the other part of this, too, is that because it's on radio, if they do the scene, Howard's going to have to describe it for the listeners. Yeah. And that makes it even worse. It'll be like, play-by-play action on top of Fred having to sit here and watch it.
Oh, yeah. And and on top of that, now it's filmed, so you've got video of it, and you're in between a hot rock and a hard place.
That's legitimate.
I bet you that character sounds just like he does now.
Right. He just knows how to do it.
Our E-crew suggests that maybe what we can do is Fred could go sit in the E-control room. All right. We'll run a camera on him. That way he won't.
Or I'll tell you what, I have another scenario.
I think that's what's going on.
I have another scenario.
All right.
Maybe they should go into another room.
No, I want to sit like I'm at Tony and Tina's wedding. I'm going to stand. I'm going to stand even. I'm going to watch.
It would be at the play.
Yeah, I want to walk around and watch her with her scene. That's all. If she's an actress, she'll do it. If she's not, she's a housewife. That's all.
No.
Come on, give me a kiss.
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
She's ready. Fred, leave the room. Yeah, Fred, leave the room.
All right.
The woman's now going to show me some acting.
Fred, I'm sorry.
Get out of the room.
I don't think I'm going to...
Get out of the room.
Fred has to leave the room.
Get out of the room. Because she can't act in front of you, and I understand. Sometimes that actors don't like to do a love scene in front of her husband. Okay, that I understand. That's legitimate. That's legitimate.
Now, that's Fred throwing the gauntlet down saying, just try it, bitch. And he's expecting she's not going to do it.
You can see the way he was, like, when he walked to the door, he's kind of like, oh, God, seething.
Oh, yeah. And do you think when they got home, how do you think it was when she got home and had to deal with him?
Oh, he probably didn't say a word. He just was like, and then if he did, I think he'd just blow up. Either he did the quiet treatment or he just blow up on her.
I'd say so. Passive aggressive.
Well, let me see this. Go ahead. Now I'm watching. Go ahead. Please. I want to see the acting.
Set the mood.
Go ahead. Here we are at Tony and Tina's wedding. This is Dominic. He's a guy, hey, baby, he's a real Guido type.
They have a history together.
He loves this nun. Go ahead. Dim the lights a little bit. Okay, thank you. Go. Here we go. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sure you want to do this?
Hey, well, listen.
Now, so she doesn't know enough. Like, this is the thing. Like I said, she doesn't know enough to know that Fred just doesn't want her to do it. So she's willing to do it anyway. That means she has zero respect for Fred.
Yeah.
Zero.
Especially on a show like this. At the time, this was a huge E show.
Yeah, it was. And if you were Fred, and this is really hard to put yourself in Fred's shoes because he's such an asshole, but and such a thin-skinned arse. Would you dump her at that point? Would you first of all, would you have gotten married with her? Probably not.
No, it wouldn't have happened in the first place. But I don't know. I'd question it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd bring it up big time, later on.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to point out, see that picture? Look at the picture behind them. Look at how
that,
small Wiggy's nose is.
Right. Well, I thought that was a reflection. Like it was a two-side. Like they literally just mirrored one side of him against the other to make that picture.
I don't think so. Because see how it's blue on one side and then like gray.
No, but I'm saying but that's Photoshop. You could make the background look like whatever you want.
Oh yeah, no, that's. I think it's just like an enlarged thing from the movie poster.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But it's just like, look at how small the nose is. That's like, nobody has a nose like that.
No way.
He's willing.
He's willing. Stop asking if he's sure he's willing to do it.
You are saying you don't want to do this.
Yeah. I really don't want to do this.
You don't want to do this?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought you were, a housewife. There's no acting going on here.
It's a simple role.
Let me tell you something. I'll tell you how hungry I was when I was a disc jockey starting out. Guy says to me, go into the room over there and do a radio show for me. I said, what do you mean? There's no microphone. I got to be on the radio to do it. He goes, if you're a disc jockey, you don't need a microphone. Go do a show for me. I'll sit here and watch you.
Whenever they said go into that room and make something up, you did it.
With that, I said either I want to work or I don't.
He and I just do a kissing scene? Is that what you want to see?
I want to see what you do every night.
Allison, you know what? You can do, you do the whole build-up that you do and then do the kiss.
I'm looking to see a scene.
Well, yeah, like he's looking to see the whole thing, not just the kiss. So, you give him the whole build-up, then you get into the whole thing.
The scene is all improvised. It's all like
go ahead.
happening in the
improvise. Sandy Barron, the Mike Douglas show, improvisation.
Character.
I've had to play on command.
Of course. Here we go. Very nerve-wracking, obviously.
You're a nun.
You're a nun. Go ahead. I got it. You don't have to wear the costume to know you're
frustrated. You're questioning your vows.
Go ahead. Go. And action.
Okay, like that, and that she's completely tone deaf, and she's just, it's just, look where you are. You're at the place. Well, the other thing is, we don't know how much Fred has talked about how much he hates Howard at this point in time.
Well, that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah. If she knew the relationship they had, and he was fully, I'd say Fred never really told her until much later, and well after this, then she'd never. First of all, she wouldn't even agree to come in. She'd just be like, nope. That what validates whatever, right. But that's it. I bagged my whale or whoever I think is who I should be with, but I know what goes on behind the scenes, so I'm not going to feed Howard's bullshit narcissism.
That's a callback to the Sal episode with the bag the whale. I was laughing. That was a great episode.
Oh, which when the one that we just released where he goes guys want ass, chicks want cash.
Yeah, they just want to bag the whale. She's like, she bagged the whale. That was probably the most honest thing that anybody's ever said about the whole Allison thing. I mean,
Beth and Howard, yeah.
Yeah, Beth, yeah.
Totally.
Yep.
And you're drunk. That's good.
Go ahead. And action.
I'm nervous.
All right, that's okay. And action. I'm Ivan Reitman. And action.
What are you doing, Terry?
What do you want?
Come here, Terry. Come on.
No, I don't think this is a good idea.
What's the matter? Come on, you know you want me.
No, I don't want you.
Come on, you don't.
No, I don't. I don't want you.
Give me a kiss.
No, I don't want you. I don't. I don't think this is a good idea. What about Donna?
You look good.
What about Donna?
Oh, you feel good.
No, I don't think this is a good idea.
Terry. Come on, Terry.
I don't think so. Dominic,
You don't like me no more?
No, I do like you, but I'm a nun now.
Give me a kiss.
I'm a nun, no. I take my final vows in 3 months.
I used to love to kiss you.
No.
Come on, Terry. Give me a kiss.
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
What's the matter?
Kiss
her. Huh?
Not a good idea.
He's actually pretty good.
I can't do this.
Allison, you're supposed to be getting into it.
What happened? That was fantastic. You're good.
You were great.
We were doing it.
You shoved up, Howard. Look. No.
Guy can't even stand up.
I know.
Dude, cannot.
Do it. And Allison wasn't acting.
Oh, is that cheating?
You know what? It got so intimate, she started pushing him off.
What's the matter? You didn't use mouthwash? I mean, my God.
Oh, my God. Fred, that was one of the hottest sex scenes I've ever seen in my life.
That was great. It was good for me.
It was great for me. I got around.
Jackie's like wiping his eyes, laughing.
Oh, Jackie can't, like, him and John are in, like, because they both know what a fucking pussy Fred is, and they also know what a hothead he is. So it's just like, and the other thing is they also know if it's on him, it'll be on him for the duration. We're safe for the next little while. We're not going to get fucked on. So
the hot seat.
Don't like.
Wow.
That was something else there.
I'm not going to say nothing. Okay.
All I know is that Allison looked
Nice
at me
job.
like a woman who had to fight him off.
Oh, please.
Well, I do have to fight him.
You sure did. I predict big things for you, sir. I wanted to kiss you.
Please.
Hey, baby,
Yes,
look.
of course you did.
No.
Watch me. I can do that scene. Let me do that with you. Come here, wait a second. Let me
Come
try
on
it.
over
Let me try a
there,
little
Dominic.
acting. Let me try a little acting. Hold on. Let me try your scene. You mind?
What's your name, Pete?
His name is
Dominic.
Now, wait. Let me see this. Let me see this scene. You know, I love this.
Move out of the way, Allison. A real actress is going to take the job.
I thought he was going to kiss the Dominic guy.
that's what I thought too. That's immediately what I thought. He's going to be the girl, and that would be
especially
totally.
When he went around Allison, I was like, oh, he's going for Dominic.
At first, yeah. Well, let's see how it goes. I forget how this went actually.
Yeah.
Get by the microphone.
Yeah.
Right here, I'm
I thought he was going to play the nun. He's going to play the Dominic character.
What's the matter, baby? You don't want me? What's the matter?
I can't.
What's the matter? Oh,
I'm
come
a nun.
on,
I'm
come on.
taking my
You know you
final
want me.
vows.
You
I
know.
don't want you.
Come on, you know you want me. Come
what
on,
about
come on.
Donna?
What are you doing?
What about Donna?
Come on, come on, come
No,
on.
I can't.
Come on, baby. Come on,
Fucking
baby.
hobgoblin.
Yeah, honestly,
It's like that hobgoblin figure that I used to have on my desk back in the 80s. I posted every once in a while, just like hobgoblin super. I think it was superpowers when the not super the Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And they had a hobgoblin figure that came out for the Secret Wars that it really looks like Howard. It really does.
He's such a vile fucking human being. Still to this day, that's the thing that boggles my mind with Allison. Allison Burns, like his first wife. He was so repulsive as a human being, and his personality and that whininess. I really don't know how she even thought this is marriage material.
Yeah, it goes back to the social work, I think.
Sense of humor will only take you so far. It really will. At the end of the day, you have to have some kind of physical attraction.
Yeah. I mean, she's just like a average-looking girl, you know. Like even if you see the young pictures of Allison Burns, like no, not ugly by any means, but I just think that maybe she didn't have a lot of boyfriends, or her parents were really strict, or
maybe.
Who knows, you know. Yeah,
and at those days, you know, you find someone who's the same faith, you know, that's a big thing.
That's a big part of it.
That's a massive part of it. And then school and not much experience, and maybe you're right, maybe no other options. But did she bother looking? I don't know. Anyway, he was busy dating a model in college, so I'm not sure why he had to settle for Allison, right?
I lived like right down the street from where the church that the two of them got married in. Well, the synagogue, the temple.
My final vows in 3 months. I can't.
Oh, man. Hey, Jackie, try a scene.
Easy.
Oh, man, this is great. Jackie, give it a shot.
Everybody take a number.
Go ahead. Do your scene, Jackie.
Get the 15 guys lined up.
Yeah.
John, try it out.
I'll tell you one thing. John ain't touching my wife.
It's a scene. It's acting. It's acting. Go ahead. Do a scene.
Touching my wife. You touch my wife, you are a dead man.
Ready.
Oh, come on.
Dead man.
I don't know.
You're nuts.
You are nuts.
A little scene.
Hold on. So it's fine for this total other guy, this little, but Stuttering John does it. It's a problem.
If I'd let like my two best friends, they could have kissed my ex-wife, I wouldn't, whatever. But a stranger, I'd have more of a problem with.
So well, why is this the problem? It's because he hates Stuttering John.
Well, that's because Stuttering John had a music career, and
Yes, he absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
you're John.
You're a nut. You're a nut job, Freddie. You're a nutbag. You want to go outside? I'll take you outside anytime.
Go ahead. Go down. Come on, let's go.
Say that, John.
Come on. Hey,
Freddie, relax. Come on.
John.
You want me to get out there?
No, you better go.
The thing is, I'm certain Fred would have fought him.
Oh yeah, no, he would have fought him, but John would have kicked his ass.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I mean, John. Well, we saw John fight Cabby. John can fight. I wouldn't. Fred might just go like have retard strength or go nutty. But I think in the end, I think that if John connected a couple of times, that would have been it.
Yeah. I think Fred's he's a powder keg, but it's a big ball of energy not directed anywhere. And apparently they say, Fred used to box or something like that. Yeah, right, whatever.
Really?
Okay, I don't know.
Oh, I never heard that.
I seem to recall he did some kind of training or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah.
You better
Are you kidding me, Freddie?
All right, Fred, sit down. Sit down, Fred.
Come on. You're nuts. You're nuts. You're a nut job.
Fred, sit down. Billy, do a scene.
No, I'm not an actor.
Gary, want to do a scene with Allison?
Hey, Gary, you believe this?
What? I want to do a scene, and I don't want to get my ass kicked.
I'll let him do it, then I'm going to leave.
You have to leave the room, or you can leave the show?
I will leave the show.
Dance with Allison.
I had my hand on her chest.
After that, Charles Manson over there. Freddie, you're only a job away from Charles Manson. Let me tell you that right now.
Yeah.
All set to beat up a friend for 7 years. You're going to beat me up because Howard asked me to do a scene?
John,
God,
you're
you
not
got to be kidding me.
You're not an actor.
All right, well, we'll see. You're not an actor.
I'm more of an actor.
Oh, yeah? I seen you act.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have. I went to your play. You want to get into it, Fred? I'll get into it, all right?
Okay.
I'll get into it anytime you want, man. Anytime.
Oh, Lord have mercy. So there's a couple of things going on here. Number one, Stuttering John's a whore for airtime, right?
Yeah.
So he would do anything to get on the air. That's number one. Number two, if Fred has a problem with him, but Stuttering John's the kind of guy that if you have a problem with him, he has a problem with you. It's like Howard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't, then it shouldn't be a problem generally. And he flip-flops on people all the time, Stuttering John. He burns bridges. He's friends with people, then he uses them, and then all of a sudden, they're assholes, or they realize he's a user, and they just kick him to the curb. Now, in this situation, I think it's deliberate. He wants to fuck with Fred. And he wants airtime, and he's not, and he doesn't have if John really gave a fuck about Fred, he would know that not to try this.
Well, John got even worse after Jackie left, because then he was like the key, content maker, instigator, and my best friend, like he hated John after that point. The thing is, like, I'm watching this now, it's like I'm sitting here watching, it's like, okay, I met Stuttering John when I went to see him play live. He's a great guitarist. I thought he did a great show. And he was a really nice guy. Same with Baba Booey. I met Baba Booey like 3 times, and each time he was a nice guy. Right. And now both of them, like, I even told John, I was like, man, what happened to you? You used to be a nice guy. And, like one of the last times I talked to him, I was, I just, I don't like the Star stuff really killed the two of them.
You mean
Bowie's an asshole now?
The ego stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bowie became an asshole, and then Stuttering John's just a kook now.
Is he still podcasting? Is he still, because I'm so out of that Dabbleverse stuff, I don't even pay attention anymore, and I imagine it's kind of run its course a little bit, but either way, yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, you're right though. But Stuttering John got an ego, but like his head just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now, granted, I give him total credit for understanding what his value was in terms of their early marketability. Like he's saying, when they do the East show, you'd feature me, Robin, and Howard, but not Fred, not Jackie. He was very visual.
Well, especially after Jackie left, he really, really stepped up.
Yeah,
but then it got out of hand. That it was too forced or something.
It was a little too predictable, and it was like, not staged, but you said, forced. And too much John was never a good thing.
Anytime you want, Freddie. Anytime, all right?
Go ahead.
Okay?
Go ahead.
God, get mad at me.
Yeah.
Give me a break, Freddie.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
I think he really loves you.
No, it's almost...
Meanwhile, you didn't do the scene, did you, pussy?
Allison, who's overreacting here? Me or him?
I think he really loves you.
You are.
You didn't do the
Hey,
thing, John.
I'll tell you one thing. You guys are nuts. I just had a great scene.
I would. Rob, would you do after that?
Sure.
And your wife is good.
I don't know,
John.
John.
She is.
Man, that was a good scene I just had.
Actually, I've known the guy for 8 years.
Oh, wow.
He loves you, John.
Yeah,
Fred.
that was love.
That was a good scene.
There you go.
What scene
That's
between
why you got so
John and
upset with
Fred?
him,
No.
because he does love
My
you.
scene with his wife.
You enjoyed yourself?
Jackie, give it a shot. I'm telling you,
Everybody
man.
else is afraid.
I had my hands right near her chest.
I just saw him almost kill John. I'm not even.
Wait a minute.
Well,
We his reaction will be of you doing the scene.
Yeah.
Well, that the reason, Jackie, you could tell that he really does consider Fred his friend. That's why he's not doing it.
Well, Jackie has he has lines he won't cross.
Right.
And once he knows that something really is something that's bothering Fred, as opposed to wanting to tweak him a little bit for the airtime, that kind of thing, like in knowing what's serious and what isn't, he just was never going to do it. Hence, when they did the whole Rainbow Room fight, Jackie wouldn't come out with it.
No, he just clammed up.
He clammed up, and why is that? Because he knows this is the bro code, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So when we covered that thing, that whole Rainbow Room thing, I found it fascinating. But I again, it just shows you how emotionally immature Fred is. On so many levels. And so it's not surprising, but at the same time, I'm thinking, how did you get through life, dude? You're worse than Robin.
I wonder if the Costco thing is out there, that episode. We'll have to look into that one.
Yeah,
'cause he gets
the
really
one
mad about that.
the one you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackie, you're good at it. You could do
Why
that.
don't you come over and do a lesbo scene, Robin?
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jackie.
See, that I would do with Robin.
Jackie, go ahead.
Allison
Come on,
will do that,
Robin.
Robin.
I would do that.
Come on,
I
Miss
never
Big
said
Mouth.
I was an actress.
Big friggin' mouth. Come on, Allison will do it with you. Allison will
I
kiss
never
you.
said I was an actress.
Yeah, you'd like it
It
too
doesn't
much.
torture Fred.
Go ahead, Jackie.
What's the difference between John doing a scene and the next guy who takes over the next role after
He's
Patrick
jealous
leaves?
of me. He's jealous of me.
He's jealous.
Yeah, he's bitter about me.
How am I jealous of you,
Because you're
John?
bitter about me.
What do you
man.
care? You let your wife do. You let your wife do a
I'm not
scene with
bitter.
Patrick.
So why would it matter? Why would it matter me? Why would Jackie be allowed and not me?
I didn't say Jackie could do it
You
either.
didn't protest?
I don't want
You didn't protest?
Because Jackie's not going to do it.
Oh, Jackie would.
He's a gentleman.
Oh,
You're
give
not
me
a
a.
gentleman.
Oh, and Howard's not a gentleman?
I'm not.
Look, Howard's goofing around.
I wasn't goofing around.
Howard's really kissing. What is
Yeah,
that?
I had her lips.
Okay.
Fred, they're all kidding around.
I know.
Oh yeah, we're all kidding.
The difference is, like I said, Jackie's got a sense of himself that he would, he knows this is what you don't do your friends. Howard would fuck anybody over to get with anybody. He doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, and John, if he knew he was getting away with it, it's the same way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that it was infidelity with him and Susanna. I can't remember the exact divorce stuff, but it wouldn't have surprised me if John fucked around on his wife.
Yeah, I never heard anything. I heard the stories about Bowie, but I never heard about John with anything.
No, to me it was just drinking, like his inability to sort of maintain child support and stuff like that.
Right.
I'd say it was drinking more than anything. That was John and Susanna's big problems. But apparently apparently there was some kind of physical abuse as well, spousal abuse.
How did John meet her? That wasn't through the show. That was just outside or something, right?
That was through the show. No, it wasn't through the show specifically, but I think at one of his gigs or something like that.
Oh, well, that's different, yeah.
Yeah, that to me, that's no different than Artie going to meet Dana at a bar and that.
Right.
You know, like, right. Yeah, and that first date, Artie told his first date with Dana was a funny story. How he did karaoke. Like he sang, he did Bruce Springsteen, and it was quite amusing. I seem to recall it was on terrestrial radio.
Yeah, I thought that it was something to do with he was with another girl, and when he met her, and then
that's when she first met him, but they didn't start. His first date with Dana was what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was funny.
Meanwhile, you let this guy Patrick kiss your wife, but you won't let John. What's the difference?
I don't understand.
Patrick's an actor.
So am I, Freddie.
Boy,
I'll act right now.
John,
I'll do it for you right now. You tell me how good I do while I'm kissing
Let's see how you do.
Go ahead, John.
All right, give him a chance.
No.
I'll do it right now. We'll see how real I get.
No, come on, John.
It doesn't matter because
Absolutely
nobody
not.
ends up kissing me anyway.
Hey, let me see you do it. Don't kiss me so much. Go ahead, John. Let me see.
That when she just said it doesn't matter because is that where they got the drop? It doesn't matter.
No, that was a Haitian lady that called in.
Was it? God,
yeah,
it was pretty close.
It was a Haitian lady that called in that she was upset about Son of the Beach. She kept calling it son of a bitch.
Yeah,
it's like that does show son of a bitch, and then he started yelling at her, and she's like, it doesn't matter,
Oh, okay. Then that's a bit of stern lore I had no idea about. I just knew that it was a very common drop after they got it.
No, he'll be all right. He'll be all right. Go ahead. Let me
Howard,
see you.
Howard, I'm telling you, I will.
Why not John?
I will not be all right.
Why would you let Patrick do it and we only John?
No means no.
No means yes. I'd go do it anyway.
Anybody in the room else who can?
I wouldn't listen to you. I'd go do
You
it.
can, Robin.
It was worth it.
I'm not in the room. I'm not in the room.
Well, we can get in the room.
John, do the scene.
Howard, are you nuts? I'll do it.
I did it.
But look at him.
You want to know something? You want to let him do it? Then I'm going to leave.
Oh.
You have to leave the room, or you going to leave the show?
I will leave the show.
Hold on.
For good? You're quitting?
Oh, come on.
Oh, wait a second. Don't make that offer.
Hold on.
And there was such an empty threat because Howard knows Fred's not leaving anywhere.
Oh yeah, no, nobody's going anywhere.
Yeah, and the other thing is, don't you feel that that's sort of a like a cuck move to leave?
Yeah.
As opposed to just dumping Allison or getting mad at Howard, for example, for pushing this.
Yeah.
Not getting mad at Howard when he should be.
Yeah, well,
like in the situation, he should be more upset with Allison than anybody else because she's allowing it to happen. Like she's going forward with it.
It's like the equivalent to these guys that get mad at the guy when their girlfriend goes with some guy, and then they get mad and want to beat the guy up. Guy's got nothing to do with anything. It's the girl that's a douchebag.
Right. I mean, like, I've seen lots of times when the girl, like there's a guy I know who's dating a girl who's a real just piece of work, and she's flirting around. She's trying to make him jealous and all that. And all the guys in the bar, once they know the score, they just avoid her like the plague because they know the problems that are going to come with it, or the guy that's going to get all, bent out of shape and obviously picking fights and stuff. So they stay away because they know she's a troublemaker. And that's exactly what Allison is being right here.
I even know of cases where, like the girl cheats on a guy and, and then the guy would dump her. And this happened to my best friend back in high school. And he, and then after I ended up working with the guy that she ended up leaving my friend for. And, and then I told him, it's like, no, Tim, the guy's he's a nice guy. Like we work together. We goof around and stuff. He's a funny guy. And it ended up that the two of them became friends because in the end, they both hated her.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then they found out that she was a jerk, and then they ended up being friends.
Yeah, one of my exes, when I broke up with her, it was just a matter of she was just too clingy and too, looked too eager to get married and get out of her house. And I warning bells kind of sounded like, because she was a little too pushing aggressively to move forward. What are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do with our lives going forward and that kind of thing? And we were just, it was too fast. And then when I broke up with her and she wasn't happy about it, she started trying to make me jealous by going with all these other guys. When she knew I was in the same place, she would, start making out with guys to try to get me jealous. And all it made me think was, you fucking putana, God, I made the right choice. And when I found out, I saw her later on years ago, she had just let herself go, and one of the girlfriends I was with saying, "Oh, I go there's my ex," and my girlfriend at the time was, "You dated that?" I go, "Trust me, she did not look like that when we dated. She was actually kind of cute." But anyway,
and that was like my
then I found out from other girlfriends, not girlfriend, like friends who were girls at the time, that she was when behind my back, she would like denigrate them for not seeing anybody, and like that we were a couple, and she would brag about it to girls as if like, I got something and you don't worry, we'll find something for you, that kind of thing. And I go, what a cunt.
Yeah.
Well,
I had one like
known
that
about that when it happened, I never would have continued with her.
No, there was the one that I had that was like that. She got on my nerves. She was pretty good looking, but she kind of was like a real life Nancy Spungen, from Sid and Nancy.
Awful.
And she always had, well, she didn't talk like that, but she loved that movie and she kind of emulated her.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I was always more like, like I always use the example. It's like if a car comes through a neighborhood and it's like ripping up the road and it's like most people say, "Wow, what a jerk," you know. But if a car drives through a neighborhood that's really just like driving slow, and you're like, "Well, what's up with this?" you know. And that's how I am. It's like I like to lay low and like keep cool, you know. And she always, I used to tell her, it's like, why do you always got to be on? You always got to be on all the time. To the point where if, you know, I used to dress up in nice suits and stuff to go to the clubs. Yeah. And like new wave clothes.
Yeah.
And I mean, some nights I'd wear the punk gear and stuff like that if we were going to see bands, but she always wore that stuff. And then there was one night we were walking and there was a puddle and she just jumped in the puddle and splashed me. And it was like, and it just got like all this salt shit all over. It was in the winter and got all salt shit all over the suit. I'm like, what the fuck did you do that for? It's like, you always got to play up the fucking Sid and Nancy shit, you know?
Yeah.
And that was when I had it. Nothing, the sex or any of it wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it. No, absolutely. It's funny you mentioned Nancy. There was a story about Nancy. It was in this book, Rock and Roll Babylon by Pamela DeBar, you know, like one of the GTOs, right? I'm with the band, you know, Pamela. Yeah. And she said, Nancy told a story of being in the back of a limo and she was given hand jobs to Brad Hamilton from Aerosmith and Joe Perry at the same time, like one on either side of her, and she was jerking both of them off in the limo.
Wow, I wonder if she ended up around Boston some point.
She was a social climber, basically. Apparently she I remember John Lydon saying that they would run her syringes along the dirt of their fingernails to try to get her infected, you know, like so that she might die. I think they hated her that much. They just said she was annoying and obnoxious. And that whole Sid Vicious, incidentally, that whole Sid and Nancy thing, obviously it doesn't matter. They're both dead now. But do you think it was one of those things where, you know, they figure she caught a dealer trying to double cross them, and then he kind of attacked her, and like, because I don't believe Sid killed her.
No, I don't either. I think so. Well, he could be kind of violent. You know, they say he killed cats and shit, but he, I just don't. I think it was a drug deal gone wrong.
Yeah. And then he's he's out of it on dope. So when he wakes up, he comes to and she's there with a knife in her abdomen or whatever. But they said his nickname was ironic. They called him Sid Vicious because he was anything but. Yeah, right. Yeah. And I remember specifically. He used to wear that lock around that chain and lock around his, and that was Chrissy Hynde gave him that lock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in the movie they show her put it on him, but that was Chrissy Hynde gave him that. That's right.
So, she was supposed to marry Sid, from what I understand, to get like a green card so she could live in England, but she didn't. She ended up marrying Jim Kerr instead from Simple Minds.
Yeah,
that was weird.
Then Jim Kerr traded up to another one of my very favorites is Patsy Kensit.
I think he did better.
Patsy Kensit.
I always thought Chrissy Hynde was a fucking ugly as fuck.
For her age now, she looks pretty good. I saw her a few years ago.
She's aged okay, but at the time she was no looker. That's my thing.
Yeah, it's like I think she went from Ray Davies, and then after Sid, and then Jim Kerr.
Yeah, just bouncing from one dick to the other. And what are you gonna do?
That's what you want. That's what you want.
Are you serious? You would leave the show?
I will not allow it.
Then they'll fire your wife. Then both of you will be out of work.
There you go.
What are you going to do then?
We'll go on and watch Tony and
Fred, suppose I play Dominic in the play. Then would you leave this show? Because if I had to do it in the play?
Would they let you play that role?
Yeah.
Then do it.
Yeah.
Then do it.
And then would you leave this show?
I would not let my wife do it.
This is irrational.
He would not let Allison.
You're going to stop your wife from acting with John.
There's something about me, Howard.
No.
You have nothing to say about it. You don't stop her. You told her you wouldn't rain on her parade.
On that, I would.
I don't know what I ever did to you, Freddie.
Johnny, you've done nothing to me.
Well, then I don't understand the reaction then. There is something, and I think we should,
John, I don't have to explain myself to you.
You see what you're doing to the guy?
You don't after that. You don't?
I don't.
Allison, you see what you're doing to the guy?
Jeez.
This is what you're doing to him. You're torturing him.
Tearing him apart.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. What, so you can kiss a guy every United States? Go get a real acting job. Go out and find a role where you don't go on as someone from the Howard Stern show.
Now, he's dismissive and really obnoxiously debasing her. Like, I get it. But in this case, I don't have any sympathy because she's there. She's allowing herself to be treated like this. You know, a person with real dignity would have said, fuck this, I'm out of here, a long time ago. Or they would have known not to come in.
Well, the other thing you don't hear her say is you don't hear her say something like, well, this is just temporary until I find another thing like an off-Broadway or something else I can act in.
Yeah.
She's not saying that. She's
No,
happy
because she's
where
desperate.
she is.
She's desperate to get. She's absolutely a fame whore. She's looking to get like some notice, or whatever. And like, dude, like, Mrs., you're not. You're not even. You won't even make it to be a fluffer on a porn set.
Yeah, she could maybe be in a chorus for My Fair Lady or something.
Yeah, maybe
a street urchin or something.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. This is not right to do to Fred. The guy is tortured, and if you really do love him, you'd stop this nonsense. Enough with this kissing. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah,
Fred,
now that you've
I'm
had
never
her.
bringing it up again.
Now that you've had her, you tell her to quit.
I'd like to rehearse with you again. I'd like to go into rehearsal. You were great. You were struggling, but you weren't.
It felt good. You felt.
I felt good. How was I acting? Was I acting good?
Acting.
The other reason I think Fred's not worried about Howard is because he thinks he's gay.
Yeah.
That's not threatening.
That's like, yeah.
Did she have a nice body, nice firm body on there?
My hand accidentally brushed up against her chest.
Ooh.
Underneath that silk kimono.
That happens.
She smelled good. Her neck tasted good. The taste of her, the touch of her.
Smell of her?
Yeah, I got totally into it. I had a little chubby. That's all I can have is a little chubby.
That's a big compliment.
That's a big chubby for me.
I think John thought he was going to get a cheap kiss out of my wife. Really? I think that's what he thought.
Thank you for coming in and doing the scene, and good luck with your acting career.
We will be.
You don't really mean that was supposed
Wait a minute.
insincere.
Patrick Buckley, good luck with your acting career, and I think we'll be seeing some big things.
We're hoping to see the Furman Norris name in Life.
Yes, and everyone go see Tony and Tina. Go see.
Good actors and actors.
That couldn't even fit on Life. They don't make enough light bulbs to fit all of that onto one. And
just do me a favor. Try not to dog the show too much.
Right.
I'll be quiet.
Yeah, I'm the best thing that ever happened to your show. Don't forget it.
Hey, well,
yeah, that's right.
You take
and John,
what's given you.
Good luck in the hall with Fred.
No way, man. No way. This is going to be a weird reconcilement.
Kiss my wife.
Reconcilement.
Want to kiss her?
Let him do the scene, Fred. Be a big man.
Sure, go ahead.
Reconcilement. That's the NYU grad. I mean, not grad. That's the funny thing, that when they figured out that Stuttering John, it's funny, in his book he says, I went to NYU, but he doesn't actually say I graduated from NYU, and he never did. Yeah.
I never read his book. I have it, but I just never read it yet.
Really? It's the only reason when it first came out, I was one of the people to give him originally gave him credit because we were still at the old place, and we did remember we did that interview with him, which was pointless because everybody I didn't really get a chance to ask him anything of substance except one thing, and it was ultimately just because I was saddled with people who don't know how to fucking do an interview. But the thing was, I gave him credit for actually showing behind the scenes what Buchwald was like, but the problem was the book was so poorly edited, with like typos and sentence fragments and anecdotes that went in the middle of it that had no purpose being in there. Like they didn't advance the story. He says he was with Buchwald, but then he doesn't. Then he says he's not with him, but he doesn't actually announce what the reason was. You know what I mean? He doesn't talk about when it happened. Just suddenly he's with Buchwald, then he isn't.
I wonder if he got dropped when he went to the Tonight Show because of Howard.
It was long before then. It was something to do with his band, and then for a while, because the band thing was, he claimed Don, and I believe him in this. He says Don didn't want to know anything to do with his music. He didn't have any dealings with it. He goes, that's not my business, and because I'm sure Don thought, well, nothing's going to happen. So when he got the deal with Atlantic, which was a big label at the time, he was like, well, why weren't you? What's this about? You're supposed to consult with me. And you said, Don, you didn't want anything to do with this. You had nothing to do. This is nothing about you. So Don probably dropped him because he was pissed.
I bought that Stuttering John CD at Leechmere, which was a huge chain of stores around this area back in the day.
Yeah.
So it was out there. It was very easy to get.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been the equivalent of Circuit City's gone, or Best. It would be like a Best Buy.
Yeah.
But it was a huge store around this area, and that's where I bought that Stuttering John CD. And I thought that there was also something about T-shirts too that Buchwald didn't.
Yeah. It was like he wanted him to do the T-shirt deal, and John wasn't sure he did, and he didn't want to do it, and blah blah blah. Then he threatened him. He said, "Oh, I'll just tell Howard what he thinks about this," and then he pulled the same move with Jackie.
Yeah, I
tried to strong arm them into doing things.
I have the book on Kindle. I just haven't read it yet.
It's worth it for that alone, because you get to see like the behind the scenes stuff, like Robin telling him, look, you're going to have to move on because Howard's not paying people, like, and warning Howard, you're not taking care of people. They're going to start leaving.
Right.
And then Robin, that's what ties into when he leaves and Robin gets all defensive, like, oh, we never had any, conversations. She doesn't want it known that she's been talking to John off the air, and he's been coming to her, and she knew all about it and stuff, because they all and already knew, but he didn't get in trouble. Howard decides, well, I'm just going to make John the subject of my wrath, but he really should be getting mad at everybody that knew about it before he did.
Well, he avoided it. He knew about it, but he just avoided dealing with it.
Oh, I know. I don't think Howard knew about it at all. He just knew it was something business related. Yeah, no, because if he'd known about it, he would have fucking scuttled that deal somehow.
Yeah, there's part of it though too, is that he's so afraid of confrontation. Like that's why there's Marcy Turk now. But that I think that he might have heard rumors about it or something, but just didn't want to deal with it, or he couldn't face John about him leaving.
Oh, he just didn't like the fact that he was leaving, and for a better gig.
Well, and he likes to play up the drama like as being a victim.
Right. Like he was valuable by show, but then later on, he had no value. Then what are you getting pissed off about if he had no fucking value, dude?
Yeah, which is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, John.
Ready, man? I don't want to see you behind bars, man.
All right, we'll take a break. You won't live to see it, John.
Oh, believe me, I will live to see it.
I don't think so.
Freddie, come on. Let's face it. I'm younger. I'm much more virile.
Oh, you think you can take Fred?
You think you can take Fred?
Yeah.
I don't know. John, you thought I was a psycho? You're a bigger psycho.
You know what? Fred, you know what? All your ranting and raving.
I smell pay-per-view.
Well, John, you hardly don't scare me.
Well, I know that, but your overconfidence, that's what's going to,
overconfidence
have me beat you. Exactly, because you think you're so strong, but you fight like a retard, and then I'm going to smack you down.
John, you've never seen me fight, but I'll hit you like a retard, and you'll hurt like a retard.
Yeah, I'll bite that big nose off. I'll bite that big nose right off your face.
John,
you know what? I don't need... Yes, right, because I'm a pit bull, and I'll bite your freaking nose off, Freddie.
John, you don't scare me.
Yeah, well, you don't scare me either, madman. Except,
yes, he does.
Yes, he does. You wouldn't make out with your wife.
Kiss his wife.
Well, yeah, well, how am I going to...
You're scared.
Yeah, I'm scared.
You're scared just being in the room?
Yeah, I'm a friend, Robin. I'm being a friend.
You're scared.
Fred got you, boy.
Please.
You're shaking in your boots.
Whatever. All I know is I enjoyed the scene.
Dominic guy looked bored.
Me too. What the hell's going on there? Genj, did you hear the tape? You hear the tape, Scott? Was it me who went crazy?
You look a little nervous, John.
Well, a little nervous. The guy is a lunatic.
Yeah, I know. You looked a little scared, though.
No. Well, I mean, I've been friends with the guy for 8 years. I mean, you don't expect a guy like that to...
Yeah, but John, what was all of a sudden, like...
What? I told him, I said, come here, go ahead.
Was that all real? Yeah, but what was being with, like, the tough guy thing, I'm surprised.
Me? Yeah. Because Freddie's always been hostile with me. He always has, like, these jabs at me. For the last, 3 months now, it's been getting worse.
I think John thought he was going to get a cheap kiss out of my wife. Really? I think that's what he thought he was going to get. And
so you think it was more sexually motivated than Howard saying, come on,
see, Howard is like, I'm sure...
Yeah.
All really, like, if she saw that Fred was really bothered about the Stuttering John thing, all she had to do was like, look, I'm not kissing John. But I think at one point he was talking about replacing Dominic, like, as that character.
Yeah.
That John was going to be doing that character. And I think there's a later episode where this came back up again, and he said, you better not take that role.
I'll take a look at it and see. I'll see what I can find, because I don't recall that. But if true, my God, it was strictly to push Fred's buttons.
It might not be on on the E show, but it might
just
be
the audio.
On
you mean?
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
In Howard's mind too, there's some little thing, but Howard's a little bit more sensible, and he's got his feet on the ground.
Okay, so that's about it, guys. We hope you enjoyed that little bit of soap opera they call like in this memory lane. Wayne, thank you so much for hanging with us for both parts, and we're going to get those out sometime this week and next week as well. Any shout outs to anybody before we wrap up?
Yeah, just the rest of the QF team, and the shows have been great. There's always good laughs on all the shows. Make sure you don't miss any. I have it now that as soon as they come up, I listen to them right in work. They priority over everything.
Just out of curiosity, do you have yours on the RSS feed that they come up on your own media player, or do you use the Patreon app?
I use the Patreon app.
Yeah.
But,
just curious. I just want to know. Yeah, go ahead.
They also come up in iTunes too. I think it's I see them listed on there.
Well, I don't even know how I couldn't get an Apple ID, so I couldn't sort it out. Because I don't have anything Apple in my house, and I think that I didn't put in a credit card, nothing. So I have no idea why. But ages ago, I tried desperately to put it on iTunes, and I think when people use iTunes, they have the RSS feed. They can have it go directly to whatever media player they're using, but I never bothered to do that. I just I use the Patreon app. It works fine.
Yeah, I use they both, because that one, and I subscribe to the Martin Ware podcast. Mm-hmm. So if I open it up in podcasts, QF is up there also. Like the two of those are right there. But mostly I get an email and a text from Patreon.
Yeah, saying something's come out.
A new show. Yeah.
Yep. Well, anyway, guys, I was just curious. Anyway, guys, thank you so much, and we'll take care. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.
If you went through the most incredible metamorphosis and somehow transformed yourself into the best person you're capable of being, and you and Lisa G, after that metamorphosis took place, were on the top floor of a burning building, and it's just you two, and God told Lisa, I will give you the ability to fly if you kiss John the Stutterer, she would say no.
I know. Well,